Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy C, coming back at you with another episode of C's Retro Garage. As usual, from outer space here in the free state of Florida, doing just a little routine maintenance on our little buddy here. 2016 Buick Encore, and this is pretty much the same across all makes of Encores, as well as Chevy Trax, and it should be the same for any car with the Ecotec engine, like the Sonic, Cruze, and Verano. Should pretty much be the same. How to do a routine oil change. Stick around. Alright, so safety first. Let's get our e-brake up. Pop the hood. So now we got the hood up, and just go around and put the hood up. Next thing, open your hood. Use your little opener here to open the hood. And next thing, go and stick a tire chuck in the rear tire. Tire chuck. Don't laugh, because those 2x4s have been around for many years, probably more years than some of you were born, and still getting the job done. If you want, go to Harbor Freight, get a pretty one. They're fairly cheap, but I just use these old 2x4s. I've been using them for years until they die. Once they die, then we'll go get a pretty one. Next thing is jack up the car, the hard part. So because this is steel, at least I'm pretty sure it is, there's really no danger of you totally screwing stuff up. If you'll find the hard part, you'll hear it right there. Okay. Some of you may have noticed I used this in the Camaro before, which is a jacking puck. It's just basically a hockey puck. It goes into the hole, and then just jack up using the puck for extra security. In this case, it's not needed. You can just jack up slowly. Keeping the jack centered. Use your hand. Just make sure, please, you have a jack that is meant to sustain that amount of weight. Okay. So this one here is a tiny bit off. Let it down a little. Now, I personally like to use my jack angled against the grain. So the grain is that way, the slant on the driveway, so put the jack up this way. And this is to prevent the wheels on the jack from rolling. So once you hit it, feel it again. That there's off. Well, actually still a little bit off. And sometimes you screw it up, it's okay. There we go. Third time's a charm. Now it's just jack it up. Alright, so now car's jacked up. Okay? Always remember, safety first. Now, the nice part about a car like this is you don't have to really jack it up too high. So, safety first. You got your jack stand here. You want to get it where it's gonna kind of grip right around there. Here's a good spot too. You go this way. Okay, remember, safety first. Now we got. Okay, so for those of you wondering where the oil pan is, right here. As you can see, here's the cat, or is that a resonator? It's more like a flex pipe. It's a flex pipe. Excuse me. And here is the cap. So I'm going to reach over here and grab my really gross and disgusting you know, oil collection bin here. Okay. You kind of want to make sure you have this somewhat centered. Now you're gonna have to really pay close attention. Now anybody's seen that most of the stuff I've done on Cruze Retro Garage usually doesn't involve a whole lot of complicated tools. That's kind of the purpose of it. It's meant so that a normal person, everyday person, with some skill can do it. So this is a 10mm wrench, socket. Most of the time all I ever use is these guys for this. This is the removal process. The putting back process is a little bit different. Alright, most of the time this is all I ever really use. Just a socket. You can hear it now. Okay. I'm gonna switch hands here, grabbing the phone. Alright, so then you can see I use this little angle socket. There's not much to it, guys. You just want to make sure you get your 10mm wrench in there. You give it a good tug. You don't need to tug hard. If it gives you trouble, remember the breaker bar? Use that. So, the rest is pretty cut and dry. It's pretty common sense. Exactly as you would see. I do this process by hand for a reason. Okay? Because you have better control over it. Once you get about that much, and you start seeing the oil start dripping out, which it hasn't yet. But once you, this one's a little bit warm still. Once you start seeing that oil coming out, if you want to give it a shot, take your sweet time, as you can see right there. Okay, slowly, there's no rush. Okay, no rush at all. Do it slowly, so you start seeing the oil kind of come out. It is a little bit warm, and this is my good hand, so therefore I'm being a little bit more careful and hesitant. Start hearing the drops. And almost there. There they go. There it goes. There it goes. Okay. I just like to let it drain slowly. I take my sweet time with it. There we go. And you notice a nice consistent oil flow. Now for some this is going to take way too long. But again, it's Cruze Retro Garage. It's important we take our time and we don't rush. So just let it go. Trust me, this does take a long time. But I have something for that as well while you're waiting. So you want to speed the process up, right? Open it up and let it breathe from both sides. Air in, oil out. If you want to take a look. I don't know how well you can see it. As you can see, it's starting to flow a little better. I would just say sit back, relax, go to your next tool. As you know, is a mandatory here at Cruze Retro Garage. Sit back, relax, take a few minutes before going on to the next part of this. So, it's time to change the oil filter. Now, the oil filter in these new cars, this is a dream come true for us guys that have been working on cars for a long time, because they're top mounted. For those of you who may not know, that is the oil filter casing right there. Same wrench you have, put an extension on it. You need a, let me see, because I forget. I want to say it was either an 18 or a 19 millimeter socket. It's bigger than that. Okay, so this one might not be millimetric. We go to the standard size. And let's try a, I don't know if you can see that. It's a 7/8. I always forget what size this goddamn thing is. 7/8 is no good. Gotta be 15/16. Boom, 15/16. So that is in a 1/2-inch socket. As you guys saw earlier, the breaker bar as well as the impact wrench, I was using a reducer for this socket sizes from 1/2 to 1/3/8. Not going to be necessary in this case. Actually going to need, even though it's called a reducer, it's going to be an increaser, which is not a word. They're still called reducers. But what we're doing is we're going backward. We're going to from the 3/8 inch to the 1/2. Sure, if you have a 1/2 inch, go for it. The reason I'm using this little extension is pretty much just makes your life easier. It's all you really need is the extension. I don't need this big long one. I just happen to store it that way. So it's just this little guy. And I'll go over to the shelf just to show you on the way there. So that is the 1/2 inch to 3/8. So I come to my reducers here, and now we're gonna go the other way. So, and that is I don't know how well you can see that. That's 3/8 to 1/2. And you'll see what it does. It makes that tip fatter. So now, simple socket wrench fit right in there with no problems. Matter of fact, I might need to take this off. But a simple socket wrench is going to fit right in there. I have it set to tighten. We have to loosen. Just give it a crank. See, there it goes. Now, if you want to go ahead and change this one now, you can. I wouldn't just pull it out now. I would take a look first down below. And then what we're going to do is right now, take a few minutes, enjoy our cigar, and that's that. Until it's time to take a quick look under the car and see how the progress is going with the oil. Alright, so you're tired of waiting. Just crank it a little bit more. Just remember, you're gonna get this shit on you, okay? And you might even drop it. There it goes. See how that you got a nice consistent flow there? Okay, so that's what you want. You want to keep a nice consistent flow. Now, in the event, and this is possible, that you lose the drain plug into the bucket, there's an actual cage, okay? It's right there. But say if you drop it, you're going to need a magnet to fish that sucker out. If not, when you drain this back into the empty quarts, the 5-quart bottle, you'll be able to find it then. I would just use a magnet. Now the positive is, according to the service manual, you should oil the threads a little bit when you put this guy back on. That is a great idea. What I usually do, now somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't specify whether it can be new or used oil. So I pretty much just take the oil drain plug right from here, kind of swish it around that little bit coming out, and that's that. I put it right back on, but do not tighten it. Just put it back on, because there is a finishing touch that has to be done. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the oil filter and the drain plug are supposed to be torqued to 18 foot-pounds of torque. That does look like an aluminum crankcase, if I remember right. That was the same on my Corvette, and it is the same, I believe, on my Camaro as well. For those of you who don't have a torque wrench, let's just say this: tighten it, but don't tighten the living shit out of it, okay? Tighten it, but hit it tight. Maybe give it a little, just a little nudge, and that's it. Don't go too far. If you got a torque wrench, I usually just set it to 20 foot-pounds. Hear that click, and you're done with it. Which I'll go ahead and I'll do that once this is done, just to get it done. So in the meantime, let this thing completely drain out. It will drain out. If you want to speed it up, I already showed you the how. You can also pull the filter if you want. Oh, there we got the drips. Okay, the hell with it. So right here, you see the plug. Grab that plug. And right there, get your little oil going and just put that sucker right back on there. Yeah, I got some oil in my hand, but who gives a shit? You know, back in the days, you know, when men were men, women were women, and, well, you get the idea. You know, we didn't care. Doesn't mean you like to wear that shit, though. But that's it as far as the plug. And now we go and grab our paper towel here. Clean this surface off. Okay, because we're gonna go grab our torque wrench and do this thing right. Alright, so here's the torque wrench. We want to make sure we set it to 20 foot-pounds of torque. Here is, you can see the settings. So this is the 0 through 9 rating, and this is the 10s, for those of you who are not aware. So let me bring it out of the light, because my eyesight ain't what it used to be. And make sure that this is set properly. And you look at it back here. On the back it does say Torx. So I'm gonna go ahead and set it. Oh, I'm not sure how well you can see that, but there's the 20, there's the 0. Now you would twist the other way, go down to the 8 would be the 18 foot-pounds of torque. Like I said, I just like to do 20 for good measure. If somebody doesn't like it, well, you know, fuck off, it's my video. So, bring this bad boy here. Give yourself a, whoops. Car turns. Wait to hear that click. Heard it? I'll do it one more time. Okay. And that's done. Now you can pick this part up. You can actually lower your vehicle after you put your tire back on, of course. And you can work from above. Kiss the groundwork. Goodbye. That part of it is done. Alright, so we're back at the filter. Now we can go ahead and take this guy off. Don't be surprised if this guy leaks a little oil. It's gonna do it. Whatever. Just try to keep it to a minimum. You can't help it. After all, oil is a viscous fluid. Even though the car has been off for a little bit, I'm gonna go ahead and put my glove back on here. Pardon me. Just because I don't want to burn the shit out of myself. Okay, so just go down there. Again, this guy. And turn that sucker out. And you should see the filter come right out. Let's bring it over here to the napkin. Look at that thing, it's fucking gross. Okay. Now, this is personal preference, okay? I don't change this with every oil change. I have a tendency to look to change the oil once it gets, start really monitoring once we hit 25%. That's just force of habit from owning a Corvette so many years ago. Just kind of got used to when it hit, 40s, okay, start monitoring, watching it. This is much newer than my Vet was, so this is why I'm not as anal about it per se. But definitely once it starts getting into single digits, it's time to change it. You don't want to be caught, just in case, you just don't want to be caught with that change oil soon or change oil now light that comes up over there, okay? And adding oil to it is not really the solution. Yeah, it's part of it, but it's not the right solution. But I'm used to changing these every other oil change. So this is what you would call a full oil change, and then without changing the filter, which again, somebody's probably going to disagree and say, no, you got to change that shit every single oil change. And then others will say, no, this is the way it's been done forever. The reason they don't do it is because they want to sell you more of these goddamn things. And you can change it every other oil change. So this is a full oil change. The other would be just a drain and fill, which is simple. Drain, fill, done. One slight difference. Per the service manual, when you do a drain and fill, it's 3.5 quarts of oil. Per the service manual, it's 4.25 quarts of oil when you do a full oil change. So it's 4.2. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to Google it and make sure, but I'm pretty sure it's 3.5 for a drain and fill, 4.25 for a full oil change. So this puppy, you're going to need this part here. This happens to be a Fram. This is pretty much the part number. You might have different letters from different manufacturers, but this will be the part number here. And if you notice, I have a tiny little flathead because when you take these guys out of the box, god damn it, you'll notice it has a gasket. It's funny, the gasket came right out, right? The filter's being different. Okay. As you noticed, it has like a little butt plug that obviously goes on the inside. This is going to be, which is here on the cap, and this is in there. But look how disgusting that looks, right? And it's actually, it looks gross, but it's not. Look, the oil's relatively clean in this car. The flathead is to change out the gasket, which is right here, if you can see it. So pop that sucker off, which I'll do off camera. And that's why I wanted to do it off camera. It's a good thing I got damper to clean that floor. And we'll go ahead and we'll pull that off and go from there. Alright, take a look in there. There's your spot. Here's the new filter with gasket, as you can see. Tighten it by hand first, so you can't no more. Okay? Take your wrench. You'll know when you're done because you won't be able to go any further. Now, remember Mr. Torque Wrench? Yep. Same rule applies with this guy. Same exact rule. So, let's go ahead and take our reducer. Put it on. And listen. Now we can take this off. Listen for the click. Heard it? Okay. No more torque wrench. Now it's time to fill. Alright, ready? Start filling. Make sure you use what's specified. No, it doesn't have to be Mobile 1. Shit. This is a Costco brand. But it has to be 5W30 full synthetic. Whatever it says on the cap. Okay? That's pretty standard with GM nowadays. 5W30. Start filling. Don't stop until you hit 4.2 or 4.25. Alright, so we went ahead and filled it. I spilled a little bit. It's okay, shit happens. Just don't spill a lot. And don't get surprised if the car smells a little bit. Pull up the stick. I pulled this out previous. Okay. Let's give it a little wipe. Put it back in. Okay. Have another look. Well, it looks good. Okay. So now, just go ahead. We're going to keep the empty one because this is going to be for the old oil. Keep that. And start getting our tools, pick them up. Always important, because remember, a clean garage is a happy garage, right? Alright. So, we're going to start the car. Let it run for a little bit. One day, hopefully, I'll afford a house with a much bigger garage. Buy more cars. Great. We start it. At this point, we're just going to start it. And at this point, everyone say hi to Al. Say hi to the girls. Hey, Kelly. Okay. So at this point, all we're really doing is looking for any leaks. It's just standard. Okay? Let's take a look. The filter. Looks good. Looks dry, right? There's no leaks coming here. Remember, that was me, my fault. I spilled it. Dipshit. I mean the dipstick. Take a look under the car. No drips, no leaks. Okay. Me personally, I like to let the car run a few minutes. But I'm not going to bore you through that. So with the magic of video. Alright. Elapsed time has passed. As you can see, that oil's cooking. That's that smell. Take a look at the dipstick. Yes, you're going to hear that wheezing. But the oil looks good. You know, that's actually considered a fix for when the car's doing the bird chirps. But the bird chirps, maybe I'll do a video on it. On my car, it does it. The bird chirps are actually having to do with the PCV valve. But now you take a look. Yes, again, that's me. I spilled it, so that's where you see the smoke. But the oil looks good. Everything looks good. The car's running. So now there's one last thing you need to do. And that last thing is reset the oil gauge. So, you come to the menu. You look under vehicle info. You go there to the oil. Let me turn the light off so you can actually see. Go to oil. You go there. And if you notice, it says press set or clear to reset. Which is, for those of you who don't know, it's this part of the stick right here. Okay, so we go ahead and we hold it down. Turn the light off again. This says, do you really want to reset? Yes. Press it. There you go. Press it again. Yes. And it should reset it to 100. Now your car is back like a champ. Don't forget to take off your e-brake before you get the hell out of here. See that roll? Told you the driveway has a slant to it. Okay. So I like to also just monitor slightly the, probably got to get a little bit of air in those tires there. I like to monitor the temperature also for a little bit, see if it spikes, and we might have a your problem. Take a look at the back for some smoke. If you don't see any smoke inside of the ordinary, if it's pure white, that could be a problem. So we walk back out here. Turn our light back on. No smoke. That's it. So at this point, take your rag, clean up all your mess, okay, and make sure the oil cap's nice and tight. Everything looks good. Go ahead and drop your hood. Now, one last thing to do. The old oil. Take your funnel, put it back in the empty container, and make sure that you recycle your oil. That's the disclaimer. Make sure that you do recycle your oil at one of many fine auto parts establishments that has a landfill nearby. So make sure you do that. Just dump the old oil right back in there and say goodbye to it along with the filter. Remember, at your nearest landfill close to a Discount Auto, AutoZone, Pep Boys, or whatever parts place that you frequent. But that's a wrap. That's a wrap, folks. Get good at this. It'll save you a ton of money in the lifetime of your vehicle, in your lifetime. Synthetic oil changes are people charging $50 to do this. Those quarts of oil at Costco, I forgot what I paid for them. It was like $25 for 10 quarts. You can't beat it. Oil filter you can get for $6. Think of it. You have the satisfaction of doing it yourself, getting more familiar with your vehicle, listening to what your car is telling you, and you know, you can't trade that for anything. So always remember, though, safety first when you do this. Let your car cool off. I didn't mention that. The best you can. And as always, this is your boy C. The C's Retro Garage remind you, stay safe, be kind one to another. Peace out.